welcome to my presentation on the cognitive trade-offs of LM use. So I would like to frame this problem in history. As far back as Plato, we've been warned that technology in some way or another affects how we think and possibly could damage our ability to think critically or to remember things. And in the discourse in academia and in popular discourse as well, there's been a lot of concern raised about how LLMs are affecting our ability to think critically, creatively, and to remember things and to learn. And so my research question here is just what are the cognitive consequences that arise from regular interactions with LLMs? And I kind of frame this within a few different lenses. Cognitive offloading is a concept in which the use of tools kind of to reduce cognitive load can have certain consequences, positive and negative, for accomplishing tasks and goals. Depth of processing, introduced by Craik and Lockhart, and levels of processing, says that the effectiveness of learning is strongly linked to how deeply a material is engaged with. And distributed cognition is a framework of viewing in which we can view human AI interaction in a single cognitive system. And so here's a list of the literature I reviewed. I'm not going to go through all of these, do not have time. But some of the key findings for cognitive offloading is that there's just a significant negative correlation between frequent LM use and critical thinking ability. Most of these studies were surveys in which people started to cite such themes as AI dependence and self-report that they're losing their ability to think critically. Leotal saw that knowledge workers claimed that they felt like they were moving away from task execution and critical thinking to oversight and monitoring and verification of the LM output. I'm going to skip to the end here. Kosmina, this is a very interesting quantitative study. It was an EEG study that kind of showed lower brain activity and a different kind of brain activity that's not associated with learning, and a more shallower level of processing and LM group usage. They also introduced this word of cognitive debt that users could accrue as they use LLMs. And this kind of also corroborates a lot of the other, self-reported qualitative surveys that I reviewed as well. So this is a big bulk of my papers dedicated to cognitive offloading section. For depth of processing, Stadler et al. They had a survey in which students who are using LMs experience significantly lower cognitive load, particularly germane cognitive load, which is associated with schema acquisition and deeper learning. And people in the LM sample group had worse justifications. I believe it was an essay writing exercise as well, or a research task rather. And they had bad justifications, and they just had a lower quality, which is associated by this reduced GCL. So for a lot of my discussion here, I just kind of ask about how we can, incorporate LMs and have them more aligned with human cognitive interest. I see this issue as an ethical problem, and perhaps some kind of oversight committee or some kind of policy that enforces educators, AI designers to keep in mind the cognitive debt that we accrue as we use these tools. Several limitations are here. Obviously, longitudinal data. This is new data. We need more quantitative data, and we need a wider demographic besides just students. That's it. Thank you.